everybody? Andre Khatchaturian here, along with Jason Takhtadjian for the ASN Podcast Week 2 Olympic Recap. We are recording this on Monday, August 5, which is day 10 of the 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris. And it took a long time, Jason, but Armenia finally got its first medal in day 9 on Sunday. It was a silver medal by Artur Davtyan in the vault apparatus. I'm sure everybody watching this has already seen it. If you haven't, go check it out. But definitely a great moment, great way to get hyped up for this upcoming week in the Olympics, which we will see many Armenians competing in weightlifting and wrestling. And so there will be 8 Armenians vying for medals there. We'll talk all about that. But first, let's talk about Davtyan silver. Jason, you saw that live on Peacock. What did you make of it?
Well, it was really cool, and the anticipation was brewing because he was the final person up in that final. It was out of 8 competitors, and the expectations were that Davtyan was going to do a pretty good job for me. But if you're watching the commentators, they were already pretty much set on the Filipino representative and the 2 British representatives that were making up first, second, and third, basically getting medals for this tournament, for this event. But then Davtyan gets a 14.966, and the Filipino who was in first, I forget his first name, but Carlos Yulo. He had a 15.113, something like that. So Davtyan gets 14.966, and all of a sudden, game on, and Davtyan can get possibly a gold medal if he gets a really good score, something like a 15.3. But Davtyan, again, goes for another vault. For me, I'm not any expert in the gymnastics world, but it looked pretty good. I'll do say so myself. And the commentators, again, coming to conclusions saying that, okay, top 3 is already set. The score is shown. Davtyan gets 14.966 once again. And again, the celebrations just start from there. Davtyan and his coach hugging each other. And he gets that silver medal. And again, we were talking about it a bit earlier, but that is the first silver medal for Armenia in gymnastics.
Yeah, Davtyan becomes the most decorated gymnast representing Armenia at the Olympics. He won bronze in the Tokyo Olympics and the silver here. Watching that vault event, what the main criticism the announcers had were that he, I guess, again, I'm not a vault gymnastics expert either, but he I guess he landed too short to the vault.
The horse. They call it a horse. Essentially, yeah, he didn't have enough distance. He didn't create enough distance.
Watching someone like Simone Biles do it, she always lands super far away from it. Well, that was, I guess, their criticism. But regardless, he won the silver, and again, it looked great. He actually came out on Instagram today on Monday, and he's hungry for more, Jason. He wants to come back in the 2028 Olympics, compete for Armenia again, and he wants to bring a gold for Armenia. It'll be Armenia's first ever gymnastics gold. Obviously, there have been Armenians who won gold medals in gymnastics during the Soviet era. Albert Azaryan, one of the guys, and Haran Shahinian, another one of the guys. But no Armenian has won gold medal representing Armenia. So we'll see what happens 4 years from now. I'm sure he'll have a large contingent of fans in Los Angeles, wherever they do that tournament. It might be at Staples Center. I don't know, crypto.com. Who knows? Probably not. They'll probably do the basketball there. Anyway, moving forward to another Armenian who's trying to bring home a medal for Armenia was Vahagan Davtyan. Before we go to that, Jason, Vahagan Davtyan, you notice that they have the same last name as Artur. Even the announcer on the Peacock, the British announcers, they said that Vahagan was the older brother of Artur Davtyan. Now, that is something that I have still don't know, because I asked Vahagan myself. I messaged him on Instagram. I said, Vahagan, I've read different things. I've read that you are brothers, and I've read that you and Artur aren't brothers. What's the story here? And he replied in a very cryptic way, but I like it. I like what he said. He's very cryptic, though. He said, yeah, we're brothers, but we're not related. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if they're stepbrothers. I don't know if or maybe they're just bros, or maybe they are related brothers. But I'm guessing that they aren't brothers. But then you have NBC saying they are brothers. So I don't know. Regardless, they are both Armenian, and Vahagan finished with a 14.866 for good enough for sixth place in the rings. Definitely an impressive performance, considering the fact that he was the oldest gymnast in the entire field. Not in the eight people he was competing with. Every gymnast in the Olympics this year, he was the oldest out of all of them. And he had been in many world championships, I think 6 world championships, but had never been in Olympic Games. And he finally reached his goal, probably his last Olympics. He'll be 39 in the next cycle, but that's definitely something to be proud of for Vahagan.
Absolutely. I mean, making it to the Olympics alone is an achievement. The fact that he qualified for a shot at the medal is also something to basically worth mentioning, especially since Artur had his success and Vahagan had his own success too. So I think it was a win-win.
So absolutely a great night. And just checking up on the gymnastics will actually be at crypto.com arena in the 2028 Summer Olympics. So you can, if Artur Davtyan is there, you're going to see, a bunch of Armenians who grew up rooting for Kobe Bryant at what was once called the Staples Center, now rooting for Armenia's first ever gold in gymnastics. What a moment that's going to be. And if you throw in all the, Americans, athletes like Simone Biles and all the other legends, such a popular sport. I'm surprised that it's going to be there. Now, where's basketball going to be if that's at crypto? Where will basketball be?
Maybe the Intuit Dome?
You are correct. It will be at the Intuit Dome.
Okay, that makes sense.
Hasn't opened yet, so I wasn't really thinking about that. So, okay.
Yeah.
Really cool. And swimming will be at SoFi Stadium, which is absolutely wild. That's going to be really cool. Swimming at SoFi Stadium. That's going to be interesting to see. So I'm already hyped up about the next Olympics, Jason.
And this one hasn't even finished yet.
We're not even done yet. So let's stick to the present. Let's stick to 2024. Let's stick to Paris. And talk about some boxing. There were 2 Armenian boxers competing this week, and one representing Armenia, one representing Denmark. David Chaloyan, he lost in the quarterfinals after defeating Delicious Ori. We talked about that last week, but he lost in the quarterfinals to Ayub Katfa, unanimous decision. And Nikolai Terterian was the other Armenian who won his first round match against the Frenchman, which was a pretty big deal considering it's his home country, and he was able to beat him, but then lost to an Uzbekistani guy. And Jason, you pronounced this man's name very well in our daily recaps. His name, I'm gonna give it a shot now. His Asadhuya Mudenhujayev of Uzbekistan.
Hey, you know what? That's good enough because I'm not attempting it again.
So we'll see how Asadhuya Mudenhujayev does in the boxing tournament, but he definitely defeated Nikolai Terterian, ending Armenia's chances for a medal and the Armenians' chance for a medal in boxing, which is kind of sad considering Hovannes Bachkov won a bronze for Armenia in the last Olympic cycle in Tokyo. And obviously, we have some coaches who have been successful so far, who are Armenian, coaching different countries in different sports. One of them was in gymnastics, who was Frederick Richards' coach in American gymnast Frederick Richards. He used to coach him. I guess they still have a connection. Levon Garakanyan. He's a Massachusetts guy, Massachusetts gymnastics coach. He actually discovered Frederick Richard when he was 14, and Frederick Richard went on to win bronze with the Americans in the team event in gymnastics. So that was pretty cool to see. And Jason, you want to talk about some of the other coaches?
Yeah, we've got a couple of coaches on deck that are going to the next round. They have advanced both of their national teams. So the first one, Brian Gourgian with Australia basketball, the Boomers. Although they had a 1-2 record in group play, they were able to advance to the next round. They're playing Serbia, Nikola Jokic and Serbia in the quarterfinals. But again, they advanced through a 1-2 record. I believe the team that they ended up beating in that group was Spain. But they had a tough time with Canada, a tough time with Giannis Antetokounmpo in Greece. But they go through with point differential. I believe that's what was the cutoff for. yeah, for them to get through. But hey, they're through. Brian Gurgian in Australia, they'll be playing Serbia. The other coach that's leading their team to the quarterfinals is in U.S. women's water polo. Adam Krikorian and the women's team, they're playing Hungary. And Andre, we were talking about it a little bit earlier. Hungary is no slouch in this competition either, even though the U.S. are trying to go for a fourth straight gold.
Yeah, Hungary won the bronze medal in the last Olympics, and the U.S. Adam Krikorian has came out and said at some point between the last Olympics and this Olympics, he came out and said that this team isn't as this water polo team he has right now isn't as good as it has been in the past. So, I mean, we saw them lose against Spain, which was one of the favorites. So if Krikorian wants 4 straight golds, it's going to be a bigger challenge for them this year compared to previous years, and Hungary's not going to be an easy test at all. So we'll see how those guys do, Gurgian and Krikorian, and we'll be rooting for them to, bring their nations some hardware. Australia, actually, you talked about Gurgian in Australia. Their Olympic run came to an end against the United States in the semifinals against Tokyo. They actually started off that game pretty well in the first half before all those NBA studs on the American team pulled away, and as expected, won by a pretty sizable margin. So we'll see how they do this time. Obviously, USA is going to be a tough team to beat, but Canada looks good, and there's so many good international talent in that basketball tournament. And I think it's going to be tough for USA to win a gold in that, because considering France, they have home court, and Wembanyama looks unbelievable, and obviously you just talked about Canada and Greece. It's a fun tournament to watch so far. I like this so much better than what the basketball tournament used to be like 12 years ago, where it wouldn't really get exciting until USA would reach like the semifinals and they would play maybe a Pau Gasol Spain-led team. But basketball is becoming more and more competitive internationally. We've seen that with Armenia having a national team now and competing in these big tournaments, and all these other countries have improved vastly throughout the last 2 decades or so. And when Luka Doncic isn't even in the tournament, that's how good the pack is. I didn't even realize that until earlier this week. I was like, "Where's Luka?" And it's like Slovenia's not even in the tournament; they didn't qualify.
Yeah, and Slovenia were in that bronze medal match with Australia in the last Olympics. They ended up losing to Australia.
Yes. So maybe this is good for Armenia. Maybe it's going to require the IOC to expand the field, and that'll be a better shot for Armenia to make the Olympic Games sometime in the future.
Yeah, right now it's 12 teams. I'm hoping they extend it to 16 teams.
Make it 16 teams. Have 4 groups of 4. The top 2 teams. And this is, I think, by the time we're senior citizens, Jason, the FIBA World Cup and this basketball tournament is going to be maybe not as big as the FIFA World Cup, but it'll be just as exciting. It'll be as, there's going to be close games. There's going to be upsets. There's going to be much more competition.
Yep.
All right, Jason. Are you ready to move forward to this week? Get some golds
coming up.
Let's get some golds for Armenia. We got a medal, we got a silver, but we want gold. In case you want an update, our rival Azerbaijan has 2 golds already in judo. So we got to get there. I think we can. We have some big name wrestlers who are favored to medal, and weightlifters as well. I'm very excited about Tuesday, which is tomorrow. We're recording this on Monday, because in the 77 kilogram Greco-Roman weight class, Jason, there will be 3 Armenians in that bracket. All 3 of them will be representing different nations. Malkhas Amoyan is the Armenian representing Armenia, but Aram Vartanyan, who will represent Uzbekistan, will also be in the tournament. And also Ike Manatsakanian of Bulgaria, he will also be in the tournament. There's a small chance here we might have gold, silver, bronze, all be Armenian. It's possible.
Yeah, it is possible. And Ike is fighting an Azerbaijani in the first round too. So added a fuel to what's going to be a spicy day of wrestling.
Very spicy. He'll be fighting Sanan Suleymanov of Azerbaijan, and Ike has some Olympic experience too, I believe. But Malkhas Amoyan, I think he's one of the favorites here. Ike actually is a 2-time bronze medalist, world bronze medalist. So maybe he's not a favorite to medal here. This was 5 years ago where he won a world bronze, but he, yeah, he did compete at the 2020 games. So
Yep.
uh, this
Yep.
is second Olympics, but I don't think he has medaling chances. But it'll be nice if he beats the Azerbaijani guy.
It would be nice. It would be nice for that. It would be nice to see Amoyan also, make some traction and clear through competition as well. We'll
Yeah,
see.
Malkhas Amoyan, three-time European champion, one-time world champion in 2021, two-time world bronze medalist. So he definitely has a chance to medal. But this tournament becomes much scarier in the Olympics. Not only the pressure, but also it's not the European championships anymore. It's the world. You get all the world athletes, and Asia is good, man. They have a lot of great competitors out in Asia, and it'll be interesting to see how he fares against them. Obviously,
Yep.
Artur Aleksanyan, he'll also begin his competition tomorrow against an Asian from South Korea, Sungjun Kim. Artur Aleksanyan's first match. He'll be favored to medal as well. And then on Wednesday, Slavik Galastyan kicks off the 67 kilograms, and we will be watching him. Moving on Thursday, we will have Arsen Haratunian fighting an Albanian as the freestyle gets kicked off in the 57 kilograms. 2 days later, your guy, Vazgen Tevanyan. You always talk about Vazgen Tevanyan. I mean, you see
I don't
him.
know. There's something about that guy. I feel like he could do something. I don't know.
65 kilograms begins Saturday, and oh my goodness, Jason, breaking news! We're watching the Gold Zone right now as we're doing this
Yeah.
podcast,
It just happened.
and the Swedish pole vaulter Mondo Duplantis just broke the world record, and oh, what a great moment! At
Yep. That's great.
6.25 meters high, and he just did it like it was nothing on his last attempt. So, some Olympic history here on the ASN podcast. How cool!
Live on the pod.
I mean, that's for Sweden. Hopefully, one day an Armenian will break an Olympic world record. That's pretty cool. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's really amazing. Moving forward, weightlifting. 3 competitors.
Mhm.
Jason, you want to tell us about them?
I mean, yeah. I mean, the first and foremost, we have Varazdat Lalayan. He is in the top weight division, and obviously the biggest headline is who is going to knock off Talakadze, George Talakadze. I
Asha
mean,
Talakadze, yeah.
yeah,
World
yeah. I
record.
mean, we're talking about a guy that's an absolute goat in that weight division, in weightlifting in general. We'll see if Lalayan has anything up for him. But the other two, Andranik Karapetyan and Garik Karapetyan. I believe Andranik is the older of the two. Garik is still a new kid on the block, so to say. But Andranik has been at the Olympics before, suffered a really gruesome injury, but he's coming back from it right now. It's going to be a comeback story, a big comeback story if he does anything or medals even. And then, of course, seeing what Garik Karapetyan has to do as well on the world stage will be interesting to see. But these are all three of these guys are pretty serious weightlifters. We'll see if any of them or all three of them can get some medals.
Andranik's story is very interesting. If you have a chance, go on YouTube and watch his 2016 Summer Olympics clean and jerk. Left elbow dislocation. It's not for it's pretty gruesome to watch, but while that was happening, it was his coach was covering his eyes. That's how gruesome it was, and he was just writhing and screaming in pain. It was really, really sad to see, and it's pretty unbelievable to see now 8 years later. Now in Paris, he has came back to the Olympics. Usually, an injury like that can end your career, but he's now 28 years old. He was only 20 years old when that happened. That can really mess someone up at that age, especially, and ruin your confidence.
He was starting off.
He was a European champion that year in 2016. Bright future ahead of him. He was in the Olympic Games, and then that unbelievable incident happened, but he bounced back. Did not compete in the Olympics, but he won a 2021 bronze in the European Championships, and then followed that up with a 2023 silver in Yerevan. So now he's back in the Olympics. It's going to be very fun to see what he does. The fact that he's here is a miracle. So if he medals, it'll be one of the greatest stories of not just for Armenians at the Olympics. I think all of the Olympics. This needs to get international attention because of what he went through 8 years ago, and I'm sure they'll be talking about it. because it's
They have to.
incredible. Yeah, absolutely, they have to. I mean, it's his arm snapped. I mean, it was so gruesome.
I mean, yeah, it's not easy to watch at all, honestly.
No.
So
we'll see what Andronik does. We'll all be rooting for him around the world. And obviously, you talked about Varazdat and Garik Karapetyan as well. Some good weightlifters. That all begins on Friday. So Friday will be Andronik Karapetyan. Saturday will be Garik Karapetyan, and then Sunday will be Varazdat Lalayan. And that Sunday will be the last day of the Olympics. The weightlifting. So one of the last events there is. Of the entire Olympics, and then it'll be the closing ceremonies, and then we'll be back here Monday to talk all about it again, Jason.
Wrap it all up.
Yeah, wrap it all up, put a bow on it, and then wait for LA 2028, and hopefully both of us will be there in person covering these athletes. That'll be an unbelievable experience.
That's the goal.
And maybe we'll see the Swedish pole vaulter there to break his own record again. Who knows? Jason, this has been great. I'm so excited about these Olympics. It's been so much fun to watch all the competition from around the world, not just the Armenians, but just you see the hard work that these athletes put into it. And I told you this during our first episode, it's the Olympics happen once every 4 years. The average man lives 80, let's say 80 years, right? You live 80 to 90 years. You divide that by 4, that's only about 20 Summer Olympics that we get to see in our lifetime. And so if something happens once every 20 times in your life, you got to embrace it. And I really hope you and everybody listening has been embracing these Olympics. I know there's a lot of weird political agendas out there that's trying to make these Olympics murky. Put that aside, check your egos and just appreciate the hard work all these athletes are putting into these Olympics, because they train so hard and they get to this place and they're putting a show on for the world. And it's really great to see. And yeah, I love it. I love this event. I basically stopped my life for it to watch random sports like canoeing and stuff that I don't usually watch, but
speed walking.
Speed walking, yeah, I watched that 20-kilometer race. That was
right,
very interesting. Came down to the wire, and as we talked too, Gold Zone now just showed Egypt scored a goal against France in the semifinal of the soccer. So,
oh wow,
that'll be an upset.
Big time.
Anyway, Jason, thank you for joining this podcast. Thank you for everyone for listening. We'll be back again next week to put a bow on the rest of the Olympics. Good luck to all the competitors, Armenian competitors, and everybody else.